Hi guys, welcome to another session of Swift PTE Express Live lesson number 3. Uh, as you all can see that we're gonna talk about modular speaking and the actual topic is describe image. So let's have a look how many students are there with me today. Oh, I've got 6 of them. Hi guys, how are you all doing today? If you have any comments, any questions, please type in the comment box because then it's easier for me to understand that you all are listening. If you've got any confusions, please type in the comment box. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, somebody is typing. Hi there, Mark. How are you? Right. Okay. Hi Rajesh, let's start then guys. So we're going to talk about describe image. As the name suggests that you'll have an image in front of you and you'll have to describe that. So in this module you will be given an image such as graphs, maps, charts, flowchart, pictures to describe. So there can be any of them. There will be around 6 to 7 questions under this category, ranges from the same things: graphs, images, pie charts, life cycle diagrams, etc. What happens is that you will be given 25 seconds to plan out and make your notes or key points. After that, you need to speak for 40 seconds and describe it. So the description has to be well. Oh, hi Sukhjinder, sorry, I didn't notice you. I was too busy in teaching. So are you listening, guys, or no? Right. Okay, cool. All right. So, how you scored? When you are trying to describe an image, the best thing you are scored in is, or the first and the foremost thing you actually scored is for the content. So whatever you describe all the elements of the image and the relationships, possible developments and conclusions or implications, then you get 5 points for it. You get 4 points when you describe all the key elements of the image and their relation referring to their implications or conclusions. You will be scored 3 if you deal with most of the key elements of the image and refers to the implication or conclusion. 2 deals with only one key point. So in base, see, I know it's too much to read, but I will just explain in simple words that if there are 5 criteria given into the image, you need to explain all 5 of them. That's how you're gonna get scored. Okay, so if you reduce the key elements, your points will get reduced as well. One is describe some basic element of the image but does not clear their interrelation or implication. So it's basically interpreting the information what is given in the chart and or in the graph, and that's how you need to do or explain about the image. Okay, now you do not get marked at all if you mention some disjoint elements of the presentation, doesn't make sense at all, you're not trying to explain what you need to explain. So that's pretty fair enough, isn't it? If you don't say anything, then you don't get marked for it. Right, then you have pronunciations. Yes, pronunciation is important because you need to actually make people understand what you're actually trying to say. So the actual scale on that is from 5 to 0. Now 5 being the native, the most native speaker, and then 0 being non-English or non-native speaker. The accent, Mark, yes, a good question. Your accent does matter, so you do not have to use any accent. The basic thing I would say is just keep yourself absolutely the way it is, or very natural and normal. You are not getting judged on your accent. All you're getting judged on your pronunciation and your oral fluency, so you don't have to keep an accent at all. Don't try to copy somebody's accent as well. Just maintain your natural flow. Cool. Oral fluency, yes, 5 being native, then 0 being disfluent or non-native at all. So it's like 4 is advanced, 3 is good, intermediate, and limited. Right, and I think it's only Mark who's listening. Cool. Anybody else wants so basically, oh yeah. It should be clear. That's right. You have to be very clear in what you're trying to explain. Oh, okay, Rajesh, thank you. I was just trying to take a little bit of an attendance that you guys are with me. Cool, Sukhjinder, thank you so much. So look carefully at the image. The first and the foremost strategy would say look carefully at the image. You have 25 seconds before you start recording your answer. So basically these 25 seconds are for you to prepare and try to give in information or judge the information or interpret the information yourself. Now once you've interpreted the information to yourself first of all, or you understood what the actual point is, you identify the main features, trends and name of features or variables in label. Speak about the main contrast or changes which is evident over time. Think about the implications or the conclusions that can be drawn. So whatever you look at, just understand what the implication is and what's the conclusion of the graph. Once you hear the tone, start with the general statement of what the image is all about. So I don't have to explain you that you start with an introduction, then you go into the body and then you go into the conclusion. So once you hear the tone, start with the general statement of what the image is about, give the introduction, then describe the most important feature, that's the body of the image, and then you end your recording with the conclusion. Okay. If you miss anything while you speak, don't worry about it and move on. You don't have to repeat that all again or go back to, oh, I forgot and stuff, because that's not taken as being fluent. The goals for you here is to practice enough until you can speak for 35 seconds without long pauses and hesitations. So hesitations is ers and thinking a lot of information, long pauses. So don't do that. Needless to say, proper grammatical sentence structure is important as well. So you need to have proper sentence structures as well. And Sukhjinder is typing something. Right. Okay. Oh, yes, there is a 3-second rule for describe image as well. Well, good question, Sukhjinder. Thank you so much for reminding me over this. That is a 3-second rule there as well, that if you do not speak for 3 seconds, the recording will turn on to be completed and you will not be able to record anything. So you cannot re-record your answer or your response. And the goal for you here is to practice enough until you can speak for 35. I already explained that. And okay, so structure of the describe image is you go by introduction, body and conclusion. You need to understand that what the introduction is all about. So introduction is going to be really and relatively easy than the main body part. Why I'm saying it's easy is because whatever is mentioned into the image, so almost all of the content in the introduction will be available in the graph. So heading of the graph, the axis, titles and everything that you can include as an introduction. If it is a picture or an image, not a graph, then give a general overview of what the image is all about. So if you see just a photo wherein people are just sitting and meeting out for drinks, you can just say that. Or else if you see a life cycle, you can explain that this picture or an image explains us about the life cycle of that particular. So the title of the general title of the image or the picture. Then say what the graph shows, trying to paraphrase the title if you can find the synonyms easily. So it's basically you look at the graph, then you try to paraphrase the title also if you can. If you can find the synonyms easily, then do that. Else it's all right. Just say the way it is mentioned in the graph. If not, just read the title and say the period of time presented on the graph if applicable. If you go on to the example, it's easier to see the example first. So the bar graph, if you look at the example, the example, it's really tiny, so I need glasses myself as well. All right, so it says US citizens over 65 years, okay, and the years given on one of the axes and the percentage given in the other axis. Okay, so this bar graph represents the number of US citizens over 65 years between 2010 to 2035. Okay, the period or mentioning the period is really important because you need to understand that you're using it as a present tense or a future tense or a past tense. So in here, if it's 2010 to 2035, what kind of tenses are we going to use? Guys, are you listening? I'm waiting for an answer. Yeah. So if we talk about 2010, that's past. Yes. Fantastic, Rajesh. I think only you're listening. Then we're going to talk about present, that is 2017, that's now. Oh, Mark's listening as well. So cool. Then we talk about we talk about future as well, guys. Nobody's mentioned future. Are you guys listening? So we've got 2035. Is that present? Is that past? Okay, nobody is listening, it seems. Only Rajesh is responding. No problem, I'll give the answer. 20 to 35 is something which has not approached as in yet, so it is future. So we would say that the actual explanation will be in all the three tenses. One is 2010, that's past, to present, and to future. Okay, let's go further down. So body, this should include the key information that the image is trying to display. If it is a graph, any remarkable rise or fall should be noted during this section. You need to concentrate on the kind of vocabulary you're using as well. So the vocabulary is you use the correct words, and it just explains that what your knowledge is and how your oral fluency is and what your vocabulary is all about. So if you see in remarkable rise, you just say increase, decrease, remarkable rise and fall, and all that information. You do not need to cover all the points in the image. So if you have 6 to 7 bars showing in the graph, you don't have to explain everything. You can take the most compared one or most contrast one, so the highest and the lowest, or something which is really near to each other. Only key ones will be enough. Ensure to keep time for the conclusion, because you need to remember that you only need to speak for 40 seconds, not more than that. Right, so conclusion, a short conclusion. This can be a personal interpretation or opinion of the image. Make sure to save enough time to get your conclusion in. Always include a conclusion. That is really important. I would like to give you exactly what tentative minutes used or seconds used to actually have the describe image, or do it in 40 seconds. So stick to the structure I'm trying to mention. 7 to 10 seconds for the introduction, 15 to 17 seconds for the main content, then 10 seconds for the conclusion. I would say if you actually stick to the structure, you'll try to, or you'll be able to fit in all the information. Guys, if you can, just write these templates as well, which says that you give an introduction that in this bar graph or chart or represents or depicts or illustrates, the given image provides us with useful information. Then you go into the template of the body, which says it is clearly evident that. If you follow the graph closely, you can observe that. By studying the graph, it can be clearly seen that, or upon closer examination or inspection, we can see that. So these are kind of phrases or phraseology which you can use because it's grammatically correct. So it just enhances the way you speak and shows your oral fluency. Template for conclusion should be, it is clearly evident that, and then you can fill up the information in that blanks there. Overall, it can be summarized, or after analyzing the graph closely, we can conclude that. Now, I would understand or have an understanding that yes, you'll be able to understand what you write, what do you have to say there. Important phrases, I've already said that in the previous slide, but I'll just explain or read through them, or if you want, you can read through them as well yourself. The given image shows the bar graph, which represents, shows, highlights, illustrates. It's quite clear that over the period referring to the time, days, years, etc., followed by while, however, and it is also interesting to note that something is greater, something is smaller. Overall, it can be summarized as well. Now, caution. You need to understand, never click next unless the full 40 seconds time is completed in the recording bar. If you click next before 40 seconds, the computer will consider that you don't have enough content or comprehension skill to speak. So it doesn't matter, but do not stop talking within these 40 seconds. Now I've got a very good example here of the graph. So first of all, I would like to ask, what kind of a graph is this? Is anybody listening? Right? Okay. Somebody is typing, so I think people are listening. Yeah. Okay, so do we? Yes, we do have vocab words. Sorry, guys, I didn't know that I had to scroll that down, so I wasn't even answering your question. You must be thinking I'm ignoring your questions, but sorry about that. It says that yes, do we have vocab words on the student portal? Yes, we do have vocab words on the student portal. These are the academic words which can be used. Yes, Sukhjinder, it is not a line graph, but it is a bar graph. It's fantastic, Mark and Rajesh. I got that. So thank you so much. Now let's just observe the graph quickly. So I'll give you like 1 second to quickly observe it. I know it's less than a time of what is to be mentioned, but I would just say that observe the graph. So first of all, what is the topic of the graph? It says it shows it's Cincinnati. It is a state in, no, it's a city in state of US, that's Ohio. Ohio is the state, and yes, and one of the city is Cincinnati. So is that okay, Sukhjinder? Now, serious crime in Cincinnati. So we are observing the serious crime in Cincinnati over the period from 2001 to 2008. So is that future or past? Yeah, Rajesh, future or past? It's 2001 to 2008. Oh, yes, cool. I thought, well, I was looking at something else here. Not a problem. So, and what we've got on the other axis is the number of serious crimes in that city. Let's go further down. So I have done this example for you. You cannot see a lot of differentiation in here, but you can still see that some of them are on a rise, and some of them are going on a fall or decreasing or increasing. So you can see relatively little bit of differences in there. So let's just look at the actual template. It says this, so we'll first of all, the introduction is this given bar graph represents the number of serious crime in Cincinnati, Ohio, USA over the period of 2001 to 2008. So that's relatively easy, isn't it? You just have to copy the introduction from the graph, whatever's already mentioned, right? Cool. Okay, let's go into the body of the describe image. It says if you follow the graph closely, you can observe that the crime rate was highest in 2002, which was nearly 3,000, followed by 2,700 in 2003. However, crime rate has been stable over the period of 2004 and 2006. Yes, you can, Sukhjinder. We can copy. If you can paraphrase it, you can paraphrase it, or else you can use the title for the introduction. That's what I said. The introduction is relatively easy, right? After analyzing, that's the conclusion. So you say after analyzing the graph closely, we can conclude that the crime rate has been decreasing year by year, and it is projected that it will decrease in near future as well. Now, you can actually make an assumption when you are analyzing or giving the conclusion, because your conclusion can never be correct or incorrect. However, it should not show a very, very, very relative high or a low kind of a contrast. If you see that it is decreasing, you can predict that it is going to be decreasing in near future as well. Like we have actually made an assumption in this as well. Okay. So, is there any questions you have at the moment? Okay, well, cool. If it looks simple to you, We are going to go into more into detail of how the comparisons of the graphs are going to happen. That's going to be little tough, but then at the moment, yes, it is very easy. All right, okay, cool. Right, so guys, we'll take 10 minutes break over this, and we'll just break. And once you come back, once you come back from the break, we will discuss over this, or you guys will do the graph or speak or describe the image by yourself. The time right now, I would say I'm giving you break for about 10 minutes. Once those 10 minutes are over, please come back, be on time. Thank you so much.